stinks.
Good morning. Today's date is May 15th, 2007. My name is Thomas Murray. Today I will be conducting an oral history interview with Richard Tart for the Veterans History Project in partnership with the Dalton Council on Aging. This interview is being held at the Dalton Community Television Studio in Dalton, Massachusetts. Good morning, Dick.
Good morning, Tom.
Dick, could you give us your full name, spelling your last name, please?
Richard Daniel Tart, T-A-R-T.
And where do you presently live?
175 Marble Street, Lee, Massachusetts.
And what was your date of birth and where were you born?
July 18th, 1926, born in Pittsville.
And did you grow up and go to school there, Dick?
Yes, I did.
And what schools did you attend?
Went to Mercer School, the old Mercer School, and the Central Junior High School, which is at the Common at that time, and Pittsville High School.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like, Dick, growing up at that time?
Oh, we had a lot of fun, and we had our chores to do, doing dishes and cleaning the house and all that stuff. And we had some good times when my father had a car. He would come home from work and pick us all up, get us all ready for bed. And we'd go out in our pajamas and everything, go out to the Dairy Queen, have ice cream and all that stuff, and go for a little ride and come home and go to bed. Those are great memories.
Yeah, yeah. Now, where did you live in Pittsfield?
Well, I was born at 27 Madison Avenue. Then we moved to 10 Madison Avenue. And then we moved to 31 Madison Avenue, which is down in the hole.
Uh-huh. So you stayed right there in that
Right
area?
on Madison Avenue until we moved to Lake Street in Pittsville.
Now, you told the story about the gas station, the Grady gas station. What was that?
Oh, yeah, it was an old Gulf station that was, I don't know what the heck is there now. Some kind of a store there now. I can't remember what it was. But my younger brother threw a rock at a bat, one of those flying bats, and it went over the station and hit the top of a car and hit a customer. And I didn't know he had thrown a stone. I was standing there doing nothing, and whammo, I got picked up by the cops, brought me down to the police station. And about a half hour or an hour later, my father come in, and he told them what happened, and so they let me go. He brought me home, and man, I was scared.
Yeah, I bet back then going to the police station meant something.
Yeah, oh, yes, definitely.
Now, you mentioned your brother, so you did have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Uh-huh.
My older brother was aboard the USS West Virginia, and we met a couple times during the war, but they wouldn't let us get together. After the war, we met in San Diego, and of course I got him a badge for the USS San Diego, which I was on. And of course we didn't pay for anything for, I think it was 3 or 4 days there.
Now, your younger brother, he was in the service as well?
He was in the Navy and a U.S., I don't know what the carrier was. It was a carrier during the Vietnam War.
Okay. And was that Vietnam or Korean?
Korean, yeah.
Okay. Now, what did your dad do for a living?
Well, he was a dispatcher for the Checker Cab, the old Checker Cab Company. That was at the old railroad station in Pittsville. And he became a dispatcher for the fire department over on Tyler Street.
Did he retire from there? Or?
No, he died before he retired.
Oh.
Just before he retired.
Was he a veteran?
Yes, World War I.
Do you remember what he did? Or
he was in France. That I don't. Otherwise, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. Did you graduate from high school?
No, I did not.
Okay. And you quit to go in the Navy, didn't you?
Yes, I enlisted because my big brother did.
And that was, what year was that?
1943, I think it was.
And so right after school you went directly into the Navy?
Right into the Navy, yes.
And you enlisted?
Yes, I went to Sampson, New York for training. Had about a week off after that, and then shipped down by railroad down to Vallejo, California.
Before we get to that, Dick, what were your dates of service?
Oh boy.
You mentioned October of 43.
Yeah, October 43 to May or something. April of 46.
46. Okay. And again, you chose the Navy because you're.
Because my brother was there, my
Yeah.
big brother.
Yeah. So you wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
And you went to Sampson.
Yes.
Do you remember any of your experiences there at Sampson?
Well, we had some awful cold nights because it was in the wintertime, and we had these little pot burners, oil stoves for heat.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, if nobody paid any attention to them, they'd go out during the night, and yeah, it got cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
And what type of training did you get there?
Yeah, normal, regular naval training. We didn't shoot any guns or anything at that time, but mostly marching and trying to keep us under their thumb.
The discipline.
Discipline and all that stuff, yeah.
Was it hard for you to adjust to that life? Or?
Not too bad. It was kind of tough at first, but after a while you get used to it.
Mm-hmm. And how long was boot camp at that time?
I think it was 8 weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
8 or 10 weeks, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did they have any graduation that you remember or any
Not
ceremony?
that I remember, no. We
Okay.
just sent us home for a few days or for a week, and then we had to go back, and they put us on a train for California.
Uh-huh. And you mentioned you did get a furlough after boot camp?
Yes,
And you went home, or?
yes, we did.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
That was great because everybody was there.
Uh-huh. You mentioned even your older brother
Yes.
was there on leave as
Yes,
well.
he was.
Uh-huh. And what did you feel in your uniform? Were you...
Like it was a hot shit.
And where did you report to next?
I went back to Sampson, New York. Then we went to Vallejo, California. And from there, oh dear.
You mentioned going to receiving barracks at Shoemaker, or
Okay, Shoemaker, yeah. Then we went aboard the USS San Diego.
uh-huh. And when you got aboard, what was your assignment then?
They put me in an ammunition mount underneath a 5-inch gun for my battle station. And you got on that when you started out to go to sea. And I got seasick, and I started throwing up there, and I didn't finish until we got to Hawaii. I was sick.
Now, how many days was that, do you remember?
I think it was 3 days.
Uh-huh. So you were sick for 3 days.
Oh, man, was I sick. Oh.
And you mentioned every time after that, if you were below
Every
deck,
time we left port, if I was below deck, I would get sick.
you were all right if you were...
If I stayed up topside for the first day, I was all right. Then I could go below decks or anywhere.
Uh-huh. When you pulled into Hawaii, what did you do there?
They had, they put us in dry dock, put a new sonar system in our ship.
Uh-huh.
And we left there, and we had to come back to the States. No, we had to come back to the States to do that. Then after we did that, we went out and tried depth charges and blew the bottom out of where they had just fixed it to put the sonar in. We blew some of the seams open. So I had to go right back in and go in the dry dock
Fix it again.
and fix it again.
What, did somebody
So,
misset the depth of the charge?
The
or
depth of the depth charge was not set right. Picked the whole back end of the ship right up like that. Went off too quick.
something? Yeah. So once you got repaired again, what did you do then?
Oh, we went back to Hawaii, and then from there we went out to the fleet. And we saw a little bit of action, but not too much. a lot of general quarters at night, and we got out towards the Philippines more, and they had carrier strikes and battleship strikes. We never near the battleships too much, but we were with the carriers, and we could see over the horizon all the flares of the guns going off, and you could hear them.
Yeah.
And during the daytime, you could see the planes going in to attack them, the Japanese planes. Then they started on us.
Now, what were you assigned to after once you got into battle?
I was on a 40 millimeter twin mount, up just above the third 5-inch twin. It's a round thing like that, and had 40 millimeter on it, and 3 5-inch twins there, and 2 off to the side. And of course, we were right in the middle between everything. So
You mentioned you could see pretty well up there.
oh yes, I was watching a lot of torpedoes go right under us. Scary, boy.
You mentioned, or what did you do? I mean, what was your job on that?
I was to turn it sideways, back and forth, and horizontal. And we had a thing that you could hook it in, and would electronically go up to a one man that would steer it and fire it. We just had to keep the ammunition going in it.
Yeah. Now you mentioned seeing the torpedoes. What was that? I mean,
Well, you could see they had a bunch of 2-man subs out there, them Japanese, and I don't know if it was our design that they had on our ship or what, but we were lucky. Our sister ship, the San Juan, got sunk, but they had a different design than we had on ours, and every one of them I saw but 15 or 20 torpedoes wakes coming at us and go right under us. And that's scary.
I bet it is, yeah.
Because there's nothing but ammunition where that's going to hit.
Now you mentioned too that there was some kind of sad parts where you'd be firing at Japanese planes and
Oh yeah,
your
when
fighters.
we were being attacked, of course there's a Japanese plane coming up from one end of the ship to the other, and we get the gun trained, and they start firing at the Jap, and we hit our own plane one time. Only once. We only got one of our own planes, and but he was coming up behind him so fast that
You
we
ran
didn't
right
shut
into it.
we didn't shut the thing off at the time,
Yeah,
and he ran right into our shells.
yeah.
So and we picked him up anyway. So
You survived. Huh?
yes, he did.
Good. Now you did get your share of Japanese planes too. You mentioned.
Oh yes, yes we did. We used to take big 5-inch guns and hit the water in front of them because they were that low,
Wow.
and the water splashing up, catch them, down they go. And we got 2 or 3 like that.
Was that an accident to do it that way, or was
We
it?
tried it.
You
They
tried
tried it that way. Yeah. Well, you got 6, 8 guns. Well, actually, 3 twin mounts, 2 guns on each. 3 here, 3 in the front, and 1 on the side, all shooting the same way. You put a big barrage out like that, you could push a lot of water up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we did make one little mistake. We got one of our own destroyers just above the water line with one of them 5-inchers.
So you didn't sink them. You just.
No, we didn't sink them. They got it and brought it back to port. I don't think anybody got hurt on it either.
Oh, that's good. Now you mentioned one time too where one of your officers got hit. That was about as close you came to as getting hit.
Yeah. They a plane strafing, and he got just the top part of his ear got hit. Don't ask me how he did it. The bullet hit just part of his ear like that and took it off.
Yeah.
But that's as close as I got, to being shot at.
Now, there was one time you said you were at sea for 48 days without any
Right, with no,
relief.
and we had to refuel off of the carriers because they had plenty of fuel.
Mhm.
And we had, because we had to keep circling them, the whole fleet, us and some destroyers, that they just kept going around and around the fleet so that nobody could get it. Of course, we had the cans, we had torpedoes, we had the guns, so that's why they kept us going. And they finally got some fuel in for us and some supplies.
Well, you mentioned a few of the destroyers ran out of fuel, didn't they?
Yes, they were dead in the water.
Yeah. But fortunately, they weren't.
Yeah, but they didn't waste all their fuel from the carriers for all of them and keep us going too.
Right.
And so they would, every once in a while, when one ran out, he just laid there, that's all.
Yeah.
And when they finally fueled up, they got those guys first, got them running, and went around and get the rest of us.
What were the Japanese getting to the tankers?
They were sinking them before they get out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned one time you ran into a typhoon, one of the worst in the Pacific.
In the history of the Pacific at that time, yes. We pretty close to going over ourselves. It was scary. I tied myself way up above decks. Said if it goes over, it goes over. I'm gone. There's nothing I can do about it. But we were right, I would say, at an angle like that without going over.
Mhm.
I don't know what stopped us from going over, but it didn't. We didn't go over.
Yeah.
And of course, we were circling too. So
But you did lose some destroyers during that storm.
4 destroyers during
4?
that storm. Yes.
Yeah.
Flipped right over. And there's not a heck of a lot you can do. They're locked inside. You know, they went right down.
Yeah.
So we searched around for, I think, 3 days, 2 or 3 days, to try and find people. But I guess they got a couple, but I'm not sure for that. You know.
Now, another assignment you had mentioned, which wasn't that great, was you had to pick up bodies out of the sea
In
after some
Guam, yeah.
battles.
Yeah, we picked them up and put them in these landing crafts, and they brought them to shore. And well, they separated the Americans and the Japanese and all that. And the Japanese pilots, they put in a big pile. I believe they burned them.
Mm-hmm.
The Americans, I think they kept them separated. I don't know if they buried them or sent them back home or
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Now, you didn't have that assignment all the time.
No, that was just that one time.
Mhm.
It was right after they hit Guam.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of bodies.
Yeah. And you mentioned going back to Guam one time to refuel and whatnot. And
Yeah, my brother was there in his ship, and they would not let us get anywhere near each other.
Mhm.
We couldn't visit each other, nothing. And that was after the Sullivan brothers got killed,
yeah,
all on one ship and all at once. So
so they wouldn't let
they
you.
wouldn't let us anywhere near each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
No.
Now, you had mentioned you were basically escorting carriers. Was
That's
what
right,
your
yes.
assignment was to
Any
protect them.
aircraft carrier, yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned going back to the Philippines, and you had quite a few battles there.
Oh yes, yes, quite a few. We were in on a bombardment of one of the islands,
Mhm.
and yeah, you could see it. It would only come out of the water like maybe this high, and it was like a hump in the ocean. And there was a shack building on it and a truck, and they never hit that truck. I don't know why. They leveled everything else. They never touched the truck. I never saw no people running around or anything. They don't even know if there was anybody on the island. But they just leveled it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was in the Aniwetok?
Yes,
Atoll?
in the Aniwetok Atoll, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I can't tell you the name of the island.
Yeah. But again, on your position on your gun, you could...
Oh yeah, I can see everything.
After you left there, you mentioned you headed toward Australia.
Yes, we did. We hit an island off of Australia to refuel. And we were just back and forth between there and China and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they finally dropped the bomb, ourselves and 3 other ships went into the harbor at Japan, and we were bait. Stayed there overnight, see if they really meant they were going to stop fighting us or what. So we stayed there overnight, and we were at battle stations all night long. And we had a great breakfast, nice pork chop sandwich, cold. And then like a tugboat was coming out towards us, and it was coming kind of fast and coming right at us. So we trained all the guns on it. He stopped right there, and they finally gave him permission to come up to the ship and come aboard. And that's when the Japanese came aboard with all kinds of papers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And met with some officers that were here. After that, we were all set. Yeah, we stayed there, what, about 2 weeks, I guess, something like that. And went on liberty. It was nice. The people were awful nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you were the first American ship to pull into a Japanese port like that when since the war had started.
Right. Us and a couple destroyers.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you went into Yokosuka as well. Was that where you tied up to do that?
Yes, right at the dock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we stayed at anchor out in the bay during the night, but the next morning we went into
and tied up there.
Yeah.
So that must have been quite an experience. I mean,
It
being
was.
the first Americans on.
Scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you were relieved from that duty, what took place then?
Then they had Missouri come in, I guess. That's where they signed the treaty and all that stuff. But we were gone by then.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And did you go directly back to the States, or?
We hit the Philippines first. Then we hit Hawaii to refuel and all that stuff. So I think we were all by ourselves coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come to San Diego, California. And we had little badges that we were on the USS San Diego. And in San Diego, oh man, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That was something else. My brother was there. I met him and I got him a little tag saying he was on the San Diego. We had 3 awful, awful days.
Now, you mentioned, or it was somewhere we seen that the San Diego really put a lot of miles on.
Oh yes.
I mean, you were over there
All over. Yeah, we crossed the equator 5 times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And were involved in quite a few of the battles that took place. So after you got back to San Diego and had your time there, what happened to you then?
I got put on board a troop transport and supply ship, USS Calvert.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had me running one of them landing crafts. I never run one before. So you got that one, and you run it. If we ever pulled up wherever we dropped anchor, I'd have to run the people to the shores or go get supplies and bring them. And I'll tell you, it was tough, real tough.
So where did you go from San Diego?
We went up to the Yangtze River in China. I don't know how far in we went, but we stayed. There was ships end to end in a line, anchored all the way up through. And we were in that line, and any time that we went to where you're supposed to go to the landing, any ship we passed, we had to stop and pick up anybody that wanted to go right in. And vice versa, coming back, you had to drop them off.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a captain of a, I can't even remember what the name of the ship was. It was an old rust bucket. I think it was an old oil tanker. And he was kind of heavy. And at that particular day, the swells were 15 feet high. And he was standing on the edge of my boat, and I got him as close as I could. And when the swell come up, he grabbed his thing, and that's where I left him hanging there. Of course, by the time I got back to my ship, they had turned me in. Then I left them hanging there. They asked me what happened. Thank God they did that, otherwise they'd have probably just shot me. But they asked me what happened. I told them the swells are so high that when I got up there and he grabbed, and if I come up again, I probably would have crushed him underneath it.
Yeah.
So I pulled out a little bit. And some of his crew came down to help him out. So I said, what the hell do you want me to do? I couldn't get under him because I probably would have killed him.
Yeah.
So they let me off. I got away with that one.
Do you remember how long you were over there in China?
Oh, I don't know. It was maybe 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
A week, 2 weeks. Then we got people that were going to bring back to the States. Stopped there, stopped the Philippines, got some more. Stopped Hawaii, got some more. Brought them in, back to the States.
So you're bringing troops back?
Troops back to the States, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
And I think I only made one trip with that thing. Out there and back. Then it was time for me to get out.
Yeah.
So I stayed right in California and then shipped me up to Boston to get kicked out.
Yeah. Now you mentioned you had a story about you had gotten some Japanese guns.
I had 2 Japanese rifles with bayonets, brand new. I had them boxed in wooden crates. My name, address on them, where they were supposed to go. And one of my supposed buddies, I gave $500 to, and I paid for the postage on the things. I gave him the money for that, besides the $500, and that was it. That was gone. They got everything.
Never saw the guns?
Never saw the guns, nothing.
Well, that's too bad.
That's the way it goes. I took a chance and I lost.
Yeah.
I lost about maybe $1,000 right there.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't care because I was going home.
So you went back to Boston and got discharged out of Boston?
Discharged there, yes.
Yeah. So what was it like getting back home?
Scary because I didn't know what I was going to do. They had that 5220 club and I just didn't even bother with that. I went right back to work at Brady Cleaners.
But what was it like getting home that day? I imagine everyone was glad to.
Oh, yes, we had quite a party going. That night we did. And after that, I just thought about working and I went right back to work like a darn fool. But I did it.
You did mention, though, that your parents chewed you out because you never wrote home enough.
Oh, yes. Them and the ship's the
chaplain?
Chaplain there. Oh, man. He really got on my case a couple times because I didn't bother writing. So what the hell, you write something, they're going to tear it up anyway, most of it. So
Yeah,
I didn't bother writing.
They censored all that mail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell them anything. I just say, hi, Mom, Dad, I'm fine. I'm on a ship somewhere. And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
That's all I would write. the ones that got through. And I don't think even half of them got through.
Yeah.
But it was my fault, I guess.
So you mentioned you did go back to work.
Oh yes, right away. Yep. That's where I met my wife. Yeah.
At Brady.
At Brady Cleaners, yes.
And what did you do there, Dick?
Well, for the most part, I was a presser. I was pressing clothes.
Mhm.
After a while, when things were happening about them selling the business and all that stuff, I was doing the cleaning and I was doing the drying and a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
Then they sold it to another cleaner, and they were supposed to keep everybody on, but they were getting rid of them one at a time. You're gone,
Yeah.
bring in their own help. So we just went on strike. And while we were on strike, and shortly after that, I worked for Checker Cab.
Mhm.
And
I imagine cabs were a little more plentiful back then.
oh yes, yeah.
In the city.
Well, there wasn't as many, but there was a lot of work for them.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't enough to really keep me going, but kept me going long enough to get another job mixing cement for a guy that does chimneys for Allegroni.
Uh-huh.
And I worked with him for 5 or 6 months. And then I got called into the turnpike, on the Mass Turnpike, to go to work there.
Uh-huh.
And I worked there 8 years.
What did you do on the turnpike?
Maintenance. Just plowing snow and cleaning up and cutting wood and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And doing road work. And they had never, all the time I was there, they never come up with a retirement. And then I wanted to buy my house because the guy was going to sell it. So I went to the bank and they wouldn't give me the money because I was working for the turnpike. And they told me that right out.
Huh.
So I had a chance to take the exam for the post office. I took the exam for the post office, went to work for him, and the Lee Bank wouldn't give me the money anyway because I was just starting there.
Mhm.
The Lennox Bank, I said, okay, we'll take a chance on you. So I bought the house. And I paid for it when I finished it off when my wife had her stroke in '87.
Mhm.
Finished paying it off.
So you've been in that same house
For, well, what is it, 47 years.
47 years. Now, so you went to the post office. Did you work in Lee? Is that?
Oh yeah, all in Lee. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I started right there, and I started out as a carrier and delivering mail into the mailboxes so the carriers can get it.
Mhm.
They had 3 or 4 jobs there that I could do.
Mhm.
Then I finally got inside as a clerk, and I finished off that way. I had most of my time as a clerk,
Mhm.
and I guess that's it.
Did you have? You had what? 27 years. You said.
27 years, yes.
Mhm. And you retired out of that, out of the post office.
Yes, in 1992.
Mhm. Now you still do some part-time work. Yeah.
I drive for Abbott's for funerals.
Mhm.
It's all I'll drive for is funerals because I fall asleep going on long trips, so I don't I don't want to kill anybody.
Now, you mentioned you did get married, so
Oh, yes.
and had a family.
Oh yes, we had 7 kids, 6 girls and 1 boy.
Uh-huh. And do they all live around you, or?
They all but 2. One of them lives in Connecticut, and the other one lives down in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And we're going down there in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Of course, what was it? She says, you can't go outside down here, the smoke. I said, what the hell's the sense of going down? You know? But the kids bought us our ticket, so
Yeah.
we're going down on the 23rd. come back June 6th.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
I only joined the Dalton American Legion when I was living in Pittsfield.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only thing I ever joined.
So when you moved to Lee, you
When I
kind
moved
of
to Lee,
dropped out.
yeah, I just dropped right out because it was too far.
Yeah. Did you keep in touch with any of your buddies, or
No,
no?
I never did. We never had any get-togethers or anything. Never got any word of it anyway.
Yeah. Now, do you feel your service experiences had a positive or negative effect on your life?
Positive. It made me the dummy I am today.
No, I wouldn't say that. Well, you said you were always able to stand up for
Oh
yourself.
yeah, yeah. I got a big mouth. I usually fire off my big mouth before I start thinking, and I don't care what I say.
Well, Dick, I know we have some photos that we'd like to look at, so why don't we do that now?
Okay.
Well, we had Now, Dick, what's this picture here?
That was me when I was home on leave. I was a smart ass as usual. And that was the house next door, Hubin's, Martin Hubin and his wife and son.
Uh-huh.
And
So that's on Madison
that
Avenue.
porch, yes, that porch right there is the front porch of the block that I was born in.
Uh-huh.
That's at 27 Madison Avenue. And there's another one. Frankie called us in the middle. Dave Enslow on the left. Eddie Chanowski and Ray Malukas.
Uh-huh.
All good friends of ours, the Madison Avenue gang.
Now, the other one in the Navy there,
Dave Enslow,
yeah.
he was my brother's buddy.
Oh, uh-huh.
One of my brother's buddy.
Uh-huh.
But we were all buddies. We all played ball together and
Yeah.
whatever.
Now,
That's the plaque on the ship of the USS San Diego.
so that,
And when it was made and
yeah.
first commissioned on January 10th, 1940, something, I
That
forgot.
got cut off.
Can't see it, yeah. But there's the
There
ship.
she is.
She's a beautiful ship, boy, I'll tell you. She could go pretty fast.
Yeah.
Not fast enough to get out of the way of that can she dropped.
Now, in looking at the ship, Dick, where was your position? Was it aft or?
See that back stack
Yeah.
right behind that?
Oh, yeah.
See the 5-inch, two 5-inch guns sticking up
Yes.
just above that?
I see. Uh-huh.
That's one of the one on the back end that got hit.
Uh-huh. Now, did that bring you back to a dry dock somewhere? Or?
No,
No?
no.
No? They were able to fix it?
Yeah, they fixed that right at Hawaii, not Hawaii, Philippines.
In the Philippines?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we didn't go back for that.
Uh-huh. Now, these are some of your...
Well, I wish I could remember their names, but man, oh man, I can't even remember the joint we were in over there down in San Diego.
That was in San Diego?
Yes, and that was too.
That's you on the end over there up?
Upper right, left, I mean. Yeah, smart ass. And always on the left, you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
That was during that storm.
Yeah. The,
Front end of the ship hit
yeah.
like that and it come right up over.
Wow. And that's the calm after the storm
Yeah.
on the right.
Yeah,
there.
see the 5-inch mounts, the
Yeah.
2-inch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, we were above that. That was probably taken right from where our gun was.
I see.
And there is in Japan, right up to the dock.
Yeah. That was Yokosuka,
Yeah.
according to the book there. That must have been quite a sight. I mean,
That was.
to see an American ship in there. Now this was a picture of your gun crew,
Yes.
and you're over on the right on that one, right? On the
Yeah, on the
back,
right in the
in
back.
the back.
Way in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that includes on the top side all the way down through all the chutes and everything that goes all the way to the bottom for the hold. All them guys.
All those guys
Oh, yeah.
were supply
Yeah.
ammunition.
Fire the ammunition up through an
Yeah.
elevator like.
Uh-huh.
And there was, the shells were about that long, about that big around.
Yeah.
And there was 4 to a clip.
Uh-huh.
It didn't take long to get rid of them 4.
Yeah, I bet. Now this is the Japanese coming aboard your ship.
aboard, yes.
That's kind of a historical event in
Yeah,
itself.
see, there's the tugboat I
Yeah.
was telling about.
Yeah. That must be everybody looking at them.
Oh, yeah. We were all over the place.
Yeah. And we can't read the caption, but I remember reading that was an admiral accepting their surrender.
Yeah.
In
I think it was Nimitz, but I'm not positive.
mhm.
And that's our captain.
Now, that was when you were getting ready to
Getting ready to get out of there.
get
Yeah.
out of there.
Go back home. Oh, not for me, though.
No, not for you.
Had to come back out again.
And that's getting
U.S.
home.
of A, yep.
Yeah, well, that was good. We can't pick it out, but it says "Welcome, well done." I think on that, the side of the mountain.
Yeah, down there on the bottom one, yeah.
Yeah,
Right on there.
that was good. Well, Dick, we want to thank you for taking the time to tell your story
Well,
and
thank you for letting me.
for your service to the country and the sacrifices that you made. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.